Hello everyone, today we're taking a look at a fragrance that was gifted to me by a very dear friend. This was a birthday present this year, I got this. And this is Andy Tauer's Une Rose de Kandahar. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, I have no idea. Now, I opened this fragrance when I received it. I spritzed it on my wrist, smelled it, it's incredible, but I'm not familiar with it. So these today, are going to be my second impressions of the scent. However, even from that night, I do remember the references that came to mind while smelling this fragrance, which is a rose. So it's only natural that I got two other roses with me today. And the reason I got them is because they're references for Une Rose de Kandahar, not necessarily in the mind of the perfumer, but definitely to my nose. So the fragrances I got with me today are, of course, such a good surprise. Naema. It's always a beautiful reference whenever I feel Naema in a scent. Oof. And the other fragrance, another rose scent, is a fragrance so dear to me, so dear, something I love so much. It's Caron's Parfum Sacré, which unfortunately you cannot find anymore, or I cannot find anymore. I'm pretty sure it's discontinued, and all I have from this is this, 20 milliliters, 30 milliliters in this ridiculous bottle. But it's a fragrance I love so much. So let's dive into Rose de Kandahar. Let's see how this smells, and we'll briefly talk about the references. I do have another fragrance with me today. I'm not going to mention it just now. It's sort of like a negative reference of how not to do a fragrance. So stay tuned for that. So let's open this Andy Tauer fragrance and let's see if my perceptions from that night have changed or not. This is how the fragrance is presented. Honestly, I don't know the technical details behind this fragrance. All I know is that I smelled it once, I loved it. It's the only fragrance I'm going to wear today. Oh yes, there it is. And let me put it on a blotter as well. I need to tell you about the opening, because my memory was correct. The opening is Aldehydic Rose Chypre. This is why I was thinking of Naema. It's very classical in terms of architecture. It's a Rose Chypre, no doubt about that. It is so beautiful, it's so delicate. And the other reason I was thinking of Naema is because it doesn't come across as cooked rose. And you know how precious these things are. It's not cooked rose, it doesn't smell jammy, it doesn't smell like the extraction process damaged the rose. And I don't know how Andy Tauer managed that. All I know is that in Naema, the reason, or at least to my nose, to my imagination, the reason why Naema doesn't smell of cooked rose is because it's fruity rose. And Rose de Kandahar follows the same path as well, because it's fruity rose as well. There's something pulpy, zesty about this rose, which definitely reminds me of Naema. Oh, there it is. It's the same aldehydes, people. Oh my god, it's so good. They're so similar in the opening. It's crazy. Naema it's so aldehydic, it's so Chypre-like. It's very similar to Mitsuko Naema. I don't know if I've said this before. Naema, to me, it smells of Mitsuko with the addition of that rose. It's got the same aldehydic peach. It's very zesty, it's very fruity, it's lactonic, it's honeyed, it's patchouli, but it's unmistakably a Chypre. And this is what's happening in Rose de Kandahar as well. But sad to say, or no, not necessarily sad to say, the reference is there and it's beautiful, but it's only in the opening, the first maybe few minutes, because Rose de Kandahar changes. And it changes beautifully. It's more powdery now, and the resins are starting to make an appearance. I don't want to leave Naema so soon, but I have to, because as Rose de Kandahar changes, it veers into this other scent, which is Parfum Sacré, which is a combination of rose and resins. This was done by one of my favorite perfumers, Jean-Pierre Berthois. Oh, there it is. It's so incensey, it's almost mineral Parfum Sacré. This smells like an oily ritual. It's so lush and beautiful. It's drier, it's just a bit powdery, just like they're in a similar stage now, Rose de Kandahar and Parfum Sacré. Powdery rose, turning spicier by the minute, and turning oilier and more resinous. In Parfum Sacré, what I remember is this rose, myrrh, cardamom combination, which is just gorgeous. It makes it a bit dry, very, very fresh, almost see-through, almost crystalline, but it's three-dimensional. It gives the fragrance this very necessary depth. All fragrances, in my opinion, require depth for me to get into them. If there's no depth, if there's no three-dimensionality to a scent, I don't think I'm very interested in them. And this is also very balmy and, patchouli-like as well. Parfum Sacré. It's balmy and minty. My God, you really stepped over some lines today, haven't you? Parfum Sacré is one of the best uses of myrrh in a fragrance since Magie Noire. If that makes sense to you. It's that sort of chypre-like scent, because Parfum Sacré also veers towards a chypre. Myrrh in scents, besides the resinous qualities, gives the fragrance a certain roundness, a certain completeness. Whenever you smell the myrrh, you know that the cycle is complete. It's like you're smelling something that was meant to be this way. It was destined to be this way. I don't know, maybe it's a bit too poetic. I don't wear this enough because this is all I have. Fortunately for me, Rose de Kandahar veers quite similar to Parfum Sacré. It's two beautiful fragrances that I love. To be fair to Rose de Kandahar, there's also something more. It does have its own familiar print. Rose de Kandahar, at the end of the day, this is how I would describe it. It's a patchouli rose, aldehydic, chypre, resinous. The main difference between Rose de Kandahar and Parfum Sacré is that I think Rose de Kandahar uses olibanum. Oh God, it's not even cited. It's not cited, never mind. I do feel it. Rose de Kandahar uses olibanum, while Parfum Sacré uses myrrh. This makes Rose de Kandahar just a bit sharper than Parfum Sacré, a bit rougher, but rough is not what I would describe, how I would describe this scent, not at all. I don't know what Andy Tower used here, but to my nose, this is how it feels like. The combination of a patchouli rose, is nothing to write home about. We've had so many patchouli roses out there. I think there's thousands of patchouli roses, but this really stands out to my nose. It stands out because of the way this fragrance is constructed, the way that this rose chypre, with all its references, has this depth to it. You're smelling so much so much more than just a patchouli rose. Dark, but playful and fruity and joyful. Just like L'air du désert marocain, it has that dynamic between light and shadow, light and cozy and jovial, and something heavier like the resins. Then again, the fragrance does feel, although it's dark, it does feel like something fresh. It doesn't overpower at any degree. And you know, it just has that depth. And now I'm going to mention, because of that depth, I have my negative example with me today, which is another ambery, rosy, olibanum-y scent. This is the latest Ambre Samar from Guerlain, the latest Aqua Allegoria Absolue, or whatever, Allegoria Absolue, what they call it. It's a beautiful scent. It's not fair for me to give it as a negative example. However, I must, because this is quite modern, right? This is almost amberwoody. It's obnoxious in comparison. However, it is similar in terms of the use of florals and that ambery olibanum. However, this Ambre Samar, although you know it's a good scent, it falls flat. There's no depth to it. What you smell it's exactly what you get from start to finish, because it feels rather synthetic. It feels amberwoody now that I compare the two. Bottle is gorgeous, let me tell you that. I might get it just for the red bottle. Almond, cardamom, frankincense, which is olibanum, amber, davana, tonka bean, benzoin, and patchouli. A lot of familiar beats with Rose de Kandahar. They don't cite the rose, but you know, something to my nose just indicates a rose in here. There is a rose in here. Maybe I'm imagining it, I don't know, but there is something that veers towards a rose. Again, it's flat, it's uninteresting, I'm judging it too harshly simply because I have this beautiful, gorgeous fragrance on my wrist here, which is just so, it's got it all. It's powdery, it's expansive, it flies off the skin, it's not overpowering, it's not obnoxious, grabs your attention but in a pleasant way, it incites curiosity, and it's so deep. Just like L'air du désert marocain is, there's that depth, that beautiful architecture to it. I wasn't expecting to fall for another Andy Tauer fragrance, but you know, this is where we are. And this definitely prompts me to smell further from Andy Tauer, because sadly enough, these are the only two fragrances I've smelled. So yeah, sad for me. This concludes my second impressions on Rose de Kandahar by Andy Tauer. If you have any other questions, do let me know in the comments. And until next time, remember, fragrance creates memories, and may yours be happy.